Hello, Adventures. It's your man Zero here, your favorite hero. Guys, Garcia is just around the corner with her own debut banner mixed with Nungle, and I want to go over her character, to go over what weapons you should be focusing on, what tarot cards she needs, and her overall skills. Let's hop in and take a look at the introduction from X. So here we have a nice clean introduction. First and foremost, with Garcia, you can actually see her in action, as well as her little super ability, her little mini cutscene. A very cool design. Not a bad one to see all the time, I gotta admit. First of all, let's go over the traits. So her main trait is Executioner, which allows Garcia at the start of battle to actually gain rational acceleration. And what rational acceleration does is it improves her attack and defense attributes. This effect is stackable multiple times, and depending on the number of stacks, Garcia also gains crit rate, crit damage, and the ability to ignore our target's block, as well as ignore a portion of the target's defensive capabilities. Next up for skills, we have Painful Cutting, which is her basic attack. Garcia deals with multiple instances of physical damage to a single target. Crit rate is increased when the target is in an injured state. So if the enemy is already injured, this attack does even more damage. Very cool. Next up, we have Spinning Blade. This is a physical damage ability. It's instant, where Garcia selects one enemy within a cross-shaped pattern around herself, drags them to her side, so the hook ability, and deals damage to this enemy. This also recovers her energy when a target is defeated. We got Taste of Blood, which is a support instant ability, where Garcia recovers her own HP, dispels some debuffs that are applied to her, gains Inspired Potential, which increases her attack and defense attributes further, and becomes immune to attribute debuffs. Now finally, we have Hidden Executioner, which is a passive. Before attacking, if there are no allies around the target, Garcia inflicts Isolate on them and disables Dodge. Alright, so now let's go over the skills that you should be focusing on in her kit. Alright, so I don't know the exact names of all these abilities because I don't have this character in my personal roster, but let's just use an identifier here so you know which ones to focus on. At rank level 1, you want to focus on this ability here. At rank number 3, you want to focus on the second ability, this one. At rank 5, you want to focus on this one here. At 7, at 9, and at 11, you want to focus on the one on the right. All right, now that you know which abilities that you need to focus on, let's hop in and take a look at the weapons that are suggested for her. To note, I do focus specifically on weapons that are grindable that you can get from doing weapon trials. So first off, we're going to do our golden weapon here, which is a ceremonial knife. This weapon, when launching a back attack, it does do an increased crit of 12%. So you can imagine that is very beneficial with her. This weapon can be located at Weapon Trial 2. Next up, we have the Newborn Blade. The Newborn Blade increases your HP by 5% and grants you a bonus of P attack equal to 3% of your HP at the start of battle. So if you have a really good tarot cards that increase your HP, this weapon might be really good for you. It is located at Weapon Trial 1, so you can grind this up to a 5-star if you really need to. Next up, we got the Void Stab. The Void Stab increases crit rate by 3%, and after using a skill, you gain 1 stack of Void. The Void effect increases your crit damage by 5% and can stack up to 6 times. This effect lasts until the end of the next turn. This weapon can be located at Weapon Trial 2, for all those people who want to grind it out. Next, let's go over the only accessory that I could find for Garcia that is grindable. This one is actually located in every single one of the weapon trials, so you can find it while you're grinding out for the other weapon, so you don't really need to focus on it too much. It will come into your rewards as you go through the other ones. It is the Disaster Bottle. It inflicts 1 random level 2 debuff on the enemy nearby. And now finally, let's go over the tarot cards that you should be focusing on grinding right now in order to get prepared for Garcia. All right, so pulling up all 3 here, let's go over each one individually. We got the Temptation of the Devil, which its skill for 1 character defeated in the battle, it gains 1 stack of that devil. The effect lasts until the end of the battle and cannot be dispelled or immunized. We got the Verdict of Justice, which increases your crit rate by 15%. And we got the Majesty of the Emperor, which increases damage by 10% when attacking healthy enemies. On top of this, there is one tarot card that I do think is worthy of mentioning, and that is Dream the Magician. I don't have it here in my initial 3, but it's one I definitely recommend, and I am pulling it up here so that way you guys can see it. And it increases your damage dealt by 8% when casting skills. For each additional hit on one enemy, the damage dealt increases by 4% up to 12%. So as you can imagine, because she has a multi-hit ability, this does seem like a card that might be worth your time. So if you have a good one, you should utilize it. And really, that's it for this video, guys. Hopefully you did enjoy it. Please do like, sub, and subscribe, and hopefully you're looking forward to Garcia. And I hope you guys are doing well out there. Take care, adventurers. Be well.